We feel privileged to host this gathering for a number of reasons. One of these is that just as this press conference is focused on public safety, our football and stadium organizations are likewise focused on protecting every single person who comes onto these premises. In fact, our highest single business priority is keeping our fans, patrons, guests, and employees safe and secure. We're accomplishing this goal by strict adherence to the NFL's best practices for stadium security. Not only does Nissan Stadium have the league's highest security rating, our building is one of a relatively few large buildings in the United States that is designated or certified under the Safety Act. On behalf of our owners and our club, I want to offer a special welcome to Kathy Lanier, the Chief Security Officer and Senior Vice President of the National Football League. We're honored to have you here again with us at Nissan Stadium. Another tool we use to keep our guests safe is the raising of public awareness about the importance of the protection of large gatherings. Despite what everyone has seen happen over the last 20 years all over the world, there are many who lack understanding and appreciation of the threats that all of us know exist. This press conference is a perfect example of ways to keep the issue of public safety uppermost in the mind of those who attend mass gatherings. This press conference is another means of raising public awareness, and all of us need frequent reminders of what is at stake with regard to public safety, not only here, but everywhere in the world. Perhaps our most significant help in our security protocols comes from our relationship with the men and women of the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department. This partnership is not just a source of pride, but is also a key component of the protection of our fans and patrons. Over 1 million people will come and go in this building during calendar year 2019. I always feel honored to welcome Chief Steve Anderson to the podium. He's not only among our nation's most respected police chiefs, but is also an honorable and humble leader and someone I feel privileged to call my friend. I know Chief Anderson is looking forward to introducing our other guests and dignitaries, and I'm especially interested in what each of them have to say about the importance of public safety as we approach the 2019 NFL Draft. We are so privileged and honored to be the host club of this year's NFL Draft, which will be the largest sporting event in the history of this city and of this state. Chief Anderson.
And thank you, Mr. Underwood, for hosting us this afternoon. And I'd like to recognize Butch Spiriton. Butch makes all things possible here in Nashville. And I'm sure that you've been involved in this, have you not, Butch? Okay, thank you, thank you. And as Mr. Underwood said, I am so pleased to say that we enjoy this partnership with the Tennessee Titans. And it's through that close relationship that this is one of the safest sports stadiums in the United States. And we can be proud of that, all of us here in Nashville. And we're committed to maintaining that relationship, event after event, and season after season. Now, just a little more than a week, the 2019 Football League Draft will kick off just across the river, First and Broadway, on an elaborate stage. Now, I'm told there's two things you can see from the naked eye in space, and that's the Great Wall of China and that stage they're building over there. For those of you who haven't seen it, it is very huge. It's the largest stage that's ever been built in Nashville, possibly in Tennessee, maybe anywhere. And it'll be a celebration fitting of the Nashville Football League's 100th anniversary. And this event will be Nashville's largest multi-day event ever. And I can tell you that a lot of careful planning has gone into making sure that everything for this event is very safe. The concerts, the NFL experience for the families, everything. And together, we've all been planning to ensure that the persons who come to the Nashville for the draft and for the Rock and Roll Marathon are safe. And joining me this afternoon to discuss this partnership, public safety officials, Nashville Football League Senior Vice President and Chief Security Officer Kathy Lanier, United States Attorney for the Middle District of Tennessee, Don Cochran, FBI Special Agent in Charge, Matt Espenshade, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation Director, David Roush, Tennessee Commissioner of Safety and Homeland Security, Jeff Long. And the core mission of all of us is to ensure a safe and enjoyable environment for the estimated 100,000 people who will be coming to downtown Nashville for each day on April 25th, 26th, and 27th. And also for those tens of thousands who will be taking part in the Rock and Roll Marathon on the morning of the 27th. No, I didn't get the dates mixed up. The draft will continue to the 27th. The marathon will be on the 27th also. And beginning on the 25th, more than 400 police officers will be within the draft footprint. Most of our officers will be in uniform and very visible. Some will be in plain clothes. There will be others, including the SWAT team, the Hazardous Device Unit, that's the bomb squad. They will be nearby to respond should their experience and expertise be needed. More than 200 police officers will be on duty on Saturday morning to ensure that the Rock and Roll Marathon is safe and secure. Officers from all police divisions in our department, including detectives, will be supporting the draft and the marathon next week. And in planning for this event, we have been careful to ensure that our police coverage in Nashville's neighborhoods remains constant. That is, we will have the same number of officers patrolling Nashville that we always do. The officers working these special events, for the most part, will be on overtime. The Boston Marathon bombing in 2013, the 2017 mass shooting in Las Vegas, and other events in this country and around the world have established what I refer to as the new normal. That is, when it comes to staffing large events, we want to take into account every contingency. We must absolutely do everything in our power to deter criminal activity and to ensure a safe environment for the thousands that will be here taking part in these events. And I want to be very clear on one point. We will not tolerate any criminal activity or other disruptive behavior that would attempt to disrupt the draft, the marathon, or that may otherwise create fear in our fans or to the marathon spectators and runners. We, all of us here today, are unified in saying that there will be absolutely no allowance for disruptive behavior. Officers and federal agents will be prepared to make arrests in those situations. The police department will activate a unified command and operation at the city's operations center near Belmont University, both for the draft and for the marathon. Command personnel will be in close contact with the officers on the ground downtown. We'll be monitoring a network of public safety cameras. We will also be relying on citizens to tell us about anything suspicious or concerning that these events that they see through our See Something, Say Something campaign. If citizens see something suspicious, they should immediately report to the nearest law enforcement officer or to call our draft marathon law enforcement hotline, 615-880-1515. This number will be active around the clock from Thursday all through the weekend. I'm grateful to the law enforcement agencies who are supplementing our hazardous device, our bomb squad, with trained explosive detective dogs during the draft and during the marathon. These agencies include the United States Coast Guard, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, the Lebanon Police Department, Nashville International Airport Police, Vanderbilt University Police, and the Hendersonville Police Department. Our SWAT team will be joined by the SWAT team from Rutherford County Sheriff's Office. Our team and theirs take place in joint training on a regular basis. And the Nashville Football League is obviously a full partner in our public safety effort. They will be deploying a number of resources to include security personnel and additional cameras. I would like now to introduce my friend, the former Chief of Police in Washington, D.C., and now Senior Vice President and Chief Security Officer for the Nashville Football League, Kathy Lanier.
Thank you. So I have to say, after spending 27 years of my life in law enforcement, it is such a pleasure to come to a city and work with law enforcement and firefighting professionals that are so well organized, that work so well together. Thank you for your leadership here, Chief. We appreciate that. So let me talk to you about some of the fun that's going to happen over the next week or so as the draft descends into town. There is a lot of fun activities for the whole family. So here around the stadium, the draft experience will be available for your whole family. So you can come during the day, Thursday from noon until 10, Friday from noon until 10, and then again on Saturday from 10 until. So these are great events for you to bring your family to as the draft goes on. So obviously the big draft day, Thursday, as the events in the downtown area are going on, at the conclusion of the draft, there'll be live music, concerts, and all of the bars and restaurants all up and down Broadway, all open and full of fun activities. So this is not too much unlike what you've seen here for 4th of July and Country Music Awards. It's just got a little bit of a football theme to it this time, that's all. I will say, in terms of security, this public safety team, firefighters, emergency management, emergency services personnel here have worked very diligently over the last year with us and others to work through not only development of these operations plans and deployment of personnel, but also all the way through earlier this week, yesterday, doing a tabletop exercise. So we have practiced and drilled and exercised everything that we could think of. And just, again, your public safety team here has been fantastic. I want to stress a couple of things. We are expecting a lot of people in the downtown area over those 3 days, 100,000 to 150, Chief. 100 to 150,000 people, if the weather is like it is today, certainly. Security is going to be not too different from what you're used to. If you've come to a game at the stadium or you've come down to any of the events of 4th of July or Country Music Awards, there's going to be security screening. So pack light. There's bag restrictions or clear bag areas that you'll have to come through, and dress appropriately so you can put on layers, take off layers if you need to, so depending on the weather here, if you're going to spend a long time here, and be prepared to go through some screening, but certainly nothing you're not used to for coming through events here. As the chief alluded to, there's a lot of security in place, cameras, on-duty and off-duty officers in plainclothes, and a lot of support here. So this is going to be a very safe and fun event, so we want to encourage everybody to come down and enjoy it. I do want to push two quick things, so two websites that will help you. Well, one website and one app. The Fan Mobile Pass app, you can download the Draft Fan Mobile Pass. That's not only a way for you to have up-to-date information about what's going on and hours and locations and prohibited items list and everything you can think of on your phone as you walk around, as we're so accustomed to today. And also our website, the NFL website for the draft is the nfl.com/draft experience. nfl.com/draft experience. So please take advantage of this beautiful city and all the fun that we're going to have here, celebrating with our stadium and our Tennessee Titans and all the fans from the NFL. And thank those public safety workers while you're out here. They've worked really, really hard. And make sure if you see anything that looks out of place to please report it. See something, say something. Thank you. Thank you.
As a part of our federal partnership, we have with us today Don Cochran, United States Attorney for the Middle District of Tennessee, and Matt Espenshade, Special Agent in charge of the Nashville office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Don and Matt.
Thanks, Chief Anderson, and thanks Steve Underwood and the Tennessee Titans for opening up this wonderful facility for us to use this afternoon. On behalf of federal law enforcement, I'd like to give a warm welcome to Kathy Lanier. Kathy, you're certainly no stranger to law enforcement with your storied career as the police chief of the department there in Washington, D.C., where her strong leadership skills transformed the department in our nation's capital. So welcome to Music City. We're glad to have you. The NFL is fortunate to have you in the position you're in, and we're also fortunate to partner with you to ensure the success of this incredibly important event here in Nashville, which looks forward to welcoming the NFL to Music City. I want also to mention that this is the first time I've had the privilege to share the stage with Jeff Long in his new role as the Commissioner of Safety and Homeland Security here in Tennessee. The last time Jeff and I were together, he was the Sheriff of Williamson County, where he left a legacy of a well-trained and very professional law enforcement agency. Jeff, I'm sure the people of Williamson County miss you out there, Sheriff, but we are delighted to have somebody of your qualifications and your professional experience leading the important job that you're in here for the state. Congratulations on your appointment. I'm here today as the Chief Federal Law Enforcement Officer in the Middle District of Tennessee to echo what Chief Anderson just said. The law enforcement leadership represented here today all have the same goal in mind, and that goal is to make Nashville a safe and secure place for our residents and for all the visitors who are coming to our city to participate in the events that will draw the largest sustained crowds in our city's history. Nashville and Middle Tennessee should be proud of the strong law enforcement partnerships that exist here and should feel confident that we're all working together to prevent criminal acts and respond appropriately to any and all threats to public safety. I want to touch briefly on a few areas of particular importance to federal law enforcement that we'll be giving special attention to. As you probably know, our office, the ATF, the FBI, and the Metro Nashville Police Department have a violent crime initiative that operates every single day called Project Safe Nashville. That initiative targets violent gun offenders and is already removing many of these violent individuals from our streets and neighborhoods. We'll be especially vigilant in our enforcement efforts as part of Project Safe Nashville in the next couple of weeks to ensure that none of these violent offenders slips through the cracks. We'll have our federal prosecutors ready and available to review any threats of violence or any attempt to disrupt the activities associated with the draft, the marathon, the NHL playoffs, or any other event that our residents and visitors may come to. And that's quite a bit going on at one time in one city, as you can imagine. As Chief Anderson said, there will be no tolerance for any activity that may pose a threat to our residents or to our visitors. As always, our law enforcement partners have been diligent in planning to prevent acts of terrorism and other mass casualty incidents. We're well prepared to respond to any of those threats in the unfortunate event that they should occur. FBI Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Matt Espenshade, will further address this planning in just a moment. Our office and those who are represented here today, both in front of and behind the podium, have also been working on a campaign to prevent human trafficking, the risk of which is especially high during high-profile, high-density events like those that Nashville will play host to next week. We've engaged the business community and the nonprofit sector, many of whom are represented here today, in educating their industry and the public about the subtle signs that are associated with this unfortunate aspect of human behavior, human trafficking, and how to respond if they suspect that they've encountered someone who may be a victim or a facilitator of this horrendous crime against humanity. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has been instrumental in giving life to this initiative, which we call Eyes Up Nashville, and have developed a website and educational materials that are being distributed to the public by our business, nonprofit, and hospitality industry partners. TBI Director David Roush will speak about this initiative in just a moment. So let me conclude my remarks by saying that we're about to enter a momentous and challenging week here in Nashville as our city prepares to take center stage in the national spotlight. I'm confident we're well prepared to ensure the safety and security of our citizens and also of everyone who comes to visit Nashville to participate in these events. We look forward to serving our community and making these events safe and enjoyable for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'd just like to again emphasize what Mr. Cochran said. The federal law enforcement response to this event and others like it. We want to serve our community in the best way possible, and we stand arm in arm with everyone here on this stage to ensure that we bring all of the appropriate federal resources to bear. I'd like to commend that atmosphere of cooperation fostered by everyone here on this stage and many of you out here in the crowd today. I'd like to thank everyone for showing up to emphasize this message. The other law enforcement and first responder agencies have been critical in planning for this event, the 2019 NFL Draft. The FBI supports the safety and security for hundreds of special events just like this one throughout the country every year, and we've learned from every event that we support. Particularly in this event, the FBI will support the endeavor with command post operations, intelligence support, security enhancements, and if necessary, we are ready to support with crisis management capabilities deployed from a national resource level. As always, the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force constantly monitors activity that could be perceived as a threat to this event and others like it. The public can be assured that we will take any measure necessary to detect and direct and disrupt the threats to the safety of anyone attending this event and proactively share all of the intelligence we glean from this with our partners. Another aspect that Don mentioned is our engagement and partnership with state and local agencies to prevent criminal activity related to human trafficking. Unfortunately, large spectator events, though they have a positive impact on the local economy and the visibility of our city, can also attract criminal activity that victimizes the most vulnerable amongst us. The FBI will work to reveal and stop the activity of human trafficking, especially activity involving juvenile victims. Again, I'd like to express the FBI's commitment to ensuring that this event is safe and secure so that Nashville can enjoy the excitement of this week's events. This is a great city, it's a great community, and it's a great law enforcement partnership that we share here. I'd like to thank everyone involved for this spirit of cooperation and dedication shown throughout the planning and operational phases of the events. Thanks to everyone, and we look forward to a great week.
Thank you, Mr. Cochran and Agent Espenshade. This is just an example of the federal partnership that we have all across the Nashville area, and our ability to work together has never been better. And I go back a little longer with Commissioner Long, Special Agent with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Assistant District Attorney, Sheriff, Williamson County, and now Commissioner of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security, Commissioner Jeff Long.
Thank you, and every time he says that, it sounds like I couldn't keep a job in my career, but I promise you it was better each time. You know, Nashville's popularity and charm has sparked great opportunity for hosting these large-scale events, bringing abundant attention to the Music City. One of the main priorities of the Tennessee Department of Safety, Homeland Security, is to ensure that Tennesseans are safe and secure in our state and on our roadways, and this event will be no exception. The Tennessee Highway Patrol, under the direction of Colonel Derek Stewart, will be supporting the Metro Nashville Police Department to ensure the safety of all citizens and visitors. Our troopers will be visible on our roads and interstates to provide support and enforcement to our motoring public. Our K-9 unit will be assisting Metro with explosive device activity that could potentially arise. Our strike teams will be ready to assist the Metro Police Department if needed. Traffic will be a huge issue, so make sure you plan early. Plan ahead. We want everyone to enjoy the events, not only including the NFL Draft, but the Rock and Roll Marathon as well. We want this to be an exciting experience for all who attend. Again, be safe, be vigilant, and report any suspicious activity by calling the Draft Marathon Law Enforcement Hotline. Have a great time and enjoy what our great city has to offer. Thank you.
I'm surrounded by friends this morning, including David Rouse, the former Chief of Police in Knoxville, Tennessee, and now the Director of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And Director Rouse is going to talk to you about the Bureau's participation and especially about human trafficking. David.
Thank you, Chief Anderson. Thank you to the fine women and men of the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department for your outstanding leadership in ensuring the public's safety during what will be surely a historic week in the Music City. The women and men of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation stand prepared to help you however you need us. As was mentioned, we will be focusing on human trafficking. Let me be clear on this. This isn't about the NFL or the draft. Trafficking happens all year long. Still, sex trafficking is a demand-driven crime, and men are largely those driving the demand. It stands to reason that at any large-scale event, including those held in Nashville in this coming week, has the potential to increase the demand for illicit sex and the exploitation that can accompany it. And that's why we're asking for the public's help. We would urge you, all of us, the public, to get up to speed on the warning signs of human trafficking. In recent weeks, we've worked closely with the U.S. Attorney's Office, a variety of partners, including our partners with Homeland Security Investigations, the Department of State, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, to launch EyesUpNashville.com. On this new website, you'll find the 5 most common warning signs of human trafficking. You'll also find clear information on what to do if you suspect that someone may be a trafficking victim, along with the resources for victims to take the first steps toward becoming a survivor. We'd also encourage the public to share the information on EyesUpNashville.com with friends and family. The more people who know, the better. Next week, as our city welcomes an influx of visitors, we'll have agents and intelligence analysts ready to respond to any calls placed to the Tennessee Human Trafficking Hotline, which anyone can reach anytime at 1-855-55-TN-HTH. Again, that's 1-855-55-TN-HTH. Chief Anderson.
So in conclusion, I want to emphasize there is no known threat to the draft or to the Rock and Roll Marathon. I repeat, there is no known threat. But nevertheless, taking into account what I described as the new normal, we will have teams of law enforcement officers in place throughout all of the events to keep people safe and to be able to react to any situation that might compromise the event. With that, we'd be pleased to take any questions. Yes, ma'am.
So with such a dense crowd of people that we're going to be having going into downtown Nashville, trying to explain how fire trucks and ambulances are going to be moving through to get to people for any sort of call and
You know, I get a lot of credit for planning this event, but if I did, I would leave something out. So I'm going to call on Lieutenant David Levitt to come up. He is the hands-on person that knows wherever barricade is, wherever opening is, and knows all of the resources that might be able to respond. Lieutenant David Levitt.
Thank you, Chief. So we will have 7 hydraulic barriers placed throughout the footprint at strategic locations. We can drop those barriers anytime we need to. They're manned by an officer at all times, and that will enable us to get emergency vehicles in and out of the footprint as needed. Also, anywhere that there's concrete, that concrete can be moved within moments. The NFL will have what they call grabbers on hand at all times, staffed 24/7, that can move that concrete within minutes if we would need to open up a street to have access for emergency vehicles. So the CVC will be screening at all of the access points, 5th and Broadway, and along Demonbreun, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, and also up along Commerce in that area between 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. And they'll be screening, not allowing any backpacks, not allowing any coolers, and other prohibited items. I would encourage you to go to the CVC's website or go directly to the NFL Draft app, and you'll have a complete list of any items that are prohibited and whatever house rules they're going to be enforcing at those entry points. Anyone else? Chief?
Anyone else on anything? Thank you very much for being here.